शुरू कर दो।
Sir, what is your ideology of participating in IPCA show and what are the key highlights of your stall here in the office?
Basically, IPCA show is organized by Indian Printed Circuit Association. So it is our commitment to the PCB fraternity. And expectation-wise, we would want that we should have more contact. We can showcase maximum products and get a maximum exposure to the industry. People should know more about our product, what are the latest technology which we are providing to the Indian Printed Circuit Board. So that is the main objective. Typically in PCB, the sales are not happening in the shows. So as I said earlier, it is an awareness campaign. So we create awareness among the people that these are the products, these are the technology. Basically, SCP Interconnection Solutions Private Limited is known for very high-end technology solutions for high volume as well as small volume productions. So we offer the machines which are the latest and with world's best technological requirement of printed circuit boards. In India, there are only one or two shops which meet their requirement. But still, we continuously showcase the technology to the people to give them the exposure. The result is now we see a sudden last 6 months surge in demand of high technology equipment. Otherwise, people were mostly investing in second-hand machines, low-end technologies, going for Chinese solutions, which are basically for low-end requirement. Now there is a total change in scenario. In fact, I don't know if you are aware, Government of India promoted a scheme in 2013 or 2012 M6. It never took off. But from 2014, after Modi took over the charge, the scheme has also taken off. People are taking advantage. And this year there is a surge. Maximum number of PCB manufacturers have applied for the M6 application, which means what? They get 25% subsidy. So once they get that 25% subsidy, they are open to buy high-end machines which are coming from Europe, USA, Japan, etc. and leaving that Chinese thing. Otherwise, it was like people mostly go for second-hand machines and Chinese machines, and high-end machines do not find a market. So this time in our show also, we have kept that theme in mind that we display the machines which are maximum for HD IPCBs and showing high density. Hopefully, we should be able to give an exposure to Indian PCB industry about these technologies and machines.
So talking about another hot topic of market, Make in India government campaign, Skill India government campaign. So government is continuously encouraging products to be made in India, to be produced in India, to be done R&D in India. So what do you think? Are these campaigns are really coming out with some good results or effects?
I'm sure, yes. Because we never seen such a huge demand for equipment. This is only the government's urge for Make in India. Much more to be done by the government in this sector, because PCB, if you go by consumption now, we may be very large consumer of PCB, but production-wise, we are less than one PCB shop in Thailand, TC. The entire India's cumulative production would be less than the one production shop. So you see, we are very, very small, whereas nothing is possible in today's world without PCB. Be it your watch, mobile, your video camera, TV, washing machine, microwaves, but we don't use PCBs in India so much. So our production is probably, I would say, negligible as compared to our requirement. So if government brings up a scheme which promotes like raw material production locally in India, some kind of anti-dumping duty on printed circuit boards, whether it is a semi-assembled board, which we call it SKDs, or it is a fully assembled board, or bare PCBs, then the demand will go huge, and then really Make in India would make sense, because if PCBs are made domestically, you can imagine the whole market will change, because our consumption is second to China in terms of electronics. So if really these things happen, we are facing this problem since long, because everything comes from China so cheap, so domestic manufacturers cannot compete with them on prices. The result is today, most of the electronics manufacturers, they import their PCBs or assembled board from China. So Make in India, people are thinking, industry is also thinking, investing from that point of view, and since it's helping a little bit, but what would you do if the raw material consumable, everything comes from China, which has got some duty, and then the PCB coming from China, which has no duty because they can buy raw material locally. The inventory carrying cost is much less than India. So I would say that if government does something and some kind of anti-dumping or putting additional duties on import of PCBs or assembled PCBs, this would go from wild to
And so apart from manufacturing, a very big requirement of India is R&D in-house for very specific applications like avionics and defense. These are very general applications. We don't do R&D. We do a certain kind of manufacturing in India, but R&D wise India is negligible.
No, I'll tell you. And government sector's R&D is very strong. You have Indian Institute of Science, they are doing some researches. Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, they are doing in defense, LRD, Electronic and Radar Development Institute. But yes, from private perspective, R&D is not there because we do the production as per the requirement of customer. So that is the area which has to be developed. In government, yes, there are a lot of R&D centers and lot of like in space. The technology which we are using is mostly indigenously researched, of course, amalgamated from the technology which they get from NASA and US and all that. But then a lot of development is indigenous. Same thing is happening in defense sector also. But yes, private industry has to come up with the R&D like in pharmaceutical. That is required in electronics. And for that also government has to come up with some additional incentives and give them some rewards.
So for the last question, what are your plans of launching new launches in future or new showcasing in future, like maybe in next 2-3 years? What are your future plans?
We have very clear and firm plan. We are looking at the market and we know for sure, as I mentioned in the beginning, that market is going towards HDI. So these HDI PCBs in India right now there is zero production. So people are now focusing on that and everybody wants to know about that. So more and more product will bring to the market which would be supporting HDI production. Very well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You have a compliment.